What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Toya and Reginae. This is season 1, episode 2, and the episode is titled Birthday Brawl. Alright, y'all, you already know we're going to start exactly where we left off, and that is with Reginae going in on her uncle because she feels like he's entitled. Now, I can't lie, I feel like over the years we have absolutely seen Reginae be an entitled brat, even when she was on, what was that show, Growing Up Hip Hop, and any other previous shows that they've done. And it's just hilarious that she's the one who's calling somebody out about the same thing that sometimes she can be. But I feel like her brother, not her brother, Toya's brother, Casey, he feels like, they can be more supportive of his music by posting, links to it or whatever. Now, I don't know if this man's music is trash or not. It can very well be. But for me, he lost all credibility in this argument when he said, if Wayne hear it, he gonna like it. I said, oh, no, sweetheart. That's not how you win this argument. I understand they have a connection to one of the biggest rappers. However, they can't just put you in front of Lil Wayne and be like, make my brother hot. Like, relax. So, you have Casey and Toya. They're going back and forth, right? And Reginae chimes in, and she's like, Mom, why are you letting him, get you all worked up? And Toya is like, he just gets on my nerves. And in that moment, I realized Reginae has no idea what it's like to have a sibling. Because if y'all know anybody who is, in a close age range to their brothers and sisters, baby, we gonna argue, okay? It don't matter if we are 5 and 6 years old. It don't matter if we in our 40s, in our 60s, in our 20s. Baby, when your sibling get under your skin, y'all be going tit for tat with each other, okay? And I was like, okay, Reginae does not realize that this is practically normal for brothers and sisters to get on each other's nerves and argue the way that Toya and Casey are arguing. And it's probably because even though she does have her little sister, Rain, their age gap is so big. Like, she don't really have to argue with Rain the way you will argue with someone who's closer to your age range. So, after all this arguing that they're doing, I personally felt like there was no resolution in this entire situation. But, okay. Now let's move on over because we got to talk about Nita's birthday. It's coming up. She wants her son to perform. Keep in mind, Nita said she wants Casey to perform for her birthday, right? So let's move on to another scene with Toya. She is checking on Reginae about her and Armand following each other on social media, but Reginae doesn't really, say too much. Now, later on, we see Toya and her friends. They go to Pilates, and she tells them all about, the family drama or whatever. And according to Toya, her issue with her sister is that she doesn't come around anymore, and practically it's because of the girlfriend. Then she goes on to say that her brother has like these blackout moments, and I'm like, wait a second, he didn't have a blackout moment when he was going in on like the family issues and how he feel about y'all. I wouldn't call that a blackout moment. However, what he does on the phone is absolutely a blackout moment. Sorry, what you not about to do is cuss me out on the phone because you think one thing and you could be loud and wrong. Absolutely not, Casey. You're not about to be cussing me out. I see why he gets blocked. So, the thing is, she feels like he blames her for his career not taking off. I'm not exactly sure if he blames her for his career not taking off, but I do feel like he feels a way about you not putting him in a better situation, putting him around the right type of people. Because, let's call a thing, Toya, you have been surrounded by people who are in the industry. You are friends with Candy. You are friends with Tiny. You're friends with T.I. You're friends with a lot of people in the industry. And you ain't never, mentioned, hey, I have a brother that rap. Or at least tried to get him to work with some of these lesser known artists. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Now, Toya, she mentions how her brother said that he wants to perform at the mom's birthday party. I said, now hold on, girl. Nita said that she wanted that. Don't try to make it seem like he's trying to take over the party by performing. Relax, okay? Now according to Toya, she has a tendency to bring her family drama into her like household, and she's trying to not do that. I said, good luck, girl, because that drama in your family, it definitely comes home. So we move on to Reginae and her friend Lourdes. Y'all remember Lourdes, or should I say Lolo? Because she was in the OMG Girls as well, but I think they thought that her and Reginae were a bit too young, which I absolutely agreed, because there was definitely a little space gap there between like Zanique's age and Reginae. So they basically talk about how they and Armand are going through it. Reginae got hurt on her film, and unfortunately, someone on TikTok decided, oh, we're going to say that Armand is abusing this girl. And of course, that caught wind and had people thinking that she was getting abused by her boyfriend. Y'all, that is crazy. Like, I'm sorry. I understand that people always want to break a story and be the first to say something. But for you to accuse a man of abusing this woman, and he did not, she literally got hurt while filming, that's crazy. And the sad part about it is that there are probably people who still believes that he abused her. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, she's lying. Wasn't working on no movie. Y'all know how people are. Like, that's crazy. Like, I feel like you should be able to sue people for this. Like, sue the TikToker, even if they ain't got nothing. But nonetheless, they also talk about, Reginae being mad at him because when he went to LA, he basically wasn't as responsive as she wanted him to be. So then what did she do? Hop on social media and she starts tweeting things. Now here's the thing. Reginae, I understand that you want to live your life as a normal person or whatever. But here's the thing. Even normal people do not go to social media to talk about their relationship. I feel like you were lashing out, acting like a child, and said, well, I'm going to talk about this on social media so that way he can notice what I'm talking about. That's what you did. You tried to pull a little stunt, and then it backfired. You tried to be like, oh, you're not going to answer my calls? I'm going to put you on blast on social media. People are going to start speculating, and then you're going to call me. Well, he ended up breaking up with your ass, okay? My thing is this. I'm not sure if it's that Armand was not checking in completely, or is it that he was not checking in when Reginae wanted him to? Because I can't lie, it seems like Reginae is definitely one of those girls who is in a relationship. She is like all over her man. She's very, my man, my man, my man. And that's cool. However, if your man gotta work, baby, let the man work. Okay? He gonna call you at some point. Nonetheless, Reginae, she really does break down and cry because you can tell that this was a actual good relationship with Armand that she did not want to let go of. Because think of all the foolishness, y'all, Reginae has been through. Even though Reginae is what? Is she even 25 yet, y'all? That girl has been through a lot, especially when she was dating, what was his name? YFN Lucci, the guy in jail. Like, that man had like 5, 6 kids, baby mama drama, all types of foolishness. So now you with a dude who ain't gonna do you dirty, but you still are operating from a space of being with a man who's trifling. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely something that Reginae is gonna have to work on. So her friend, she does tell her though, girl, you was kind of wrong for going to social media. You shouldn't be doing that. And I said, you know what? That right there is a good friend. Because we have seen way too many times people pacify their friends and be like, well, girl, what else were you going to do? You had to get his attention. You know what I'm saying? But Reginae says they're taking a break from their relationship. So at some point, I do feel like they're going to get back together on this show. I have no idea where they stand today in real life. Now let's move on to Toya and Nay. They go jewelry shopping. Toya, she still doesn't understand why her and her sister are disconnected. Nay basically tells her that she should show her sister that she cares about her. And I agree, because Toya does sometimes come off as like nonchalant about things. Like, I feel like even though she loves her family, she still keeps them at a distance from herself. And I get it, keep your family at a distance, but at least make it seem like you care about them. So Toya basically tells her that when it comes to her relationship with Armand, she's rooting for them because he's actually a guy that Toya likes. Because y'all know Toya hated when Reginae was with Lucci. She hated that relationship. And honestly, in that moment, it was good to see her like support her daughter and be like, listen, I get it, you broke up with him. If it's meant to be, it'll be. But don't lose yourself, in a relationship with this guy. And I'm like, you know what? That's some good advice, girl. Don't be trying to lose yourself after a man. So now we see Beady meet up with Danielle, right? They basically talk about the family dinner. And they also talk about how the family, they don't exactly understand Beady's lifestyle because, baby, Beady don't even understand her goddamn lifestyle. I'm sorry. The more Beady talks about this relationship with her and this girl, it makes no sense to me. First, we're going to have one guy. Then they added in two guys. But then they got to maintain their relationship. The girl's man don't want her with Beady. I'm like, this is too much. This is a whole lot of foolishness. And it ain't working. Like, literally, they both have boyfriends. They both plan separate trips to different places with their boyfriends. I'm like, well, why are you together supposedly with her? Like, it's not exactly making sense. Especially once we get to the end of the episode, y'all. Now, according to Beady, she needs to move because her and Mel, they not even really together at this point. And she feels like, Mel should be switching up on her. And I'm like, of course she did. Because she was playing you this whole time. At least that's how I feel about it. So Danielle, she feels like Beady is in a love spell. And it's a one-sided relationship. I have to agree with Danielle. And Danny also tells her that the family feels like Mel don't be treating Beady right. And I can believe that as well. Because a lot of times your family can see things in a person that you don't see because you so head over heels for that person. So basically, out of nowhere, here comes Beady saying, oh, I want to bring Mel to my mom's party. Girl, you just told us that you broke up with this girl. She's moving on to do whatever she about to do. You about to move out. Why would you invite her to your mom's party? It doesn't even make sense, girl. But y'all, let's go ahead and move on. Because we have Red and Toya, they're in the car. They basically talk about her planning her mom's birthday. Her and her sister are going to go look at a venue. And Red says that he's going to go talk to Armand. Cool. So, we do see the conversation between Red and Armand. And here's the thing. When he says that he went to LA, Nay was practically blowing up his phone or whatever, and he was busy. He's trying to get stuff done. He's trying to shoot music videos. He's trying to record. He has a list of things that he was going out there to do. This was not just like a leisure trip for him. So he feels like, she should trust him and understand that he's working. And I give him that. You should be able to trust me. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't proven to you that I'm trifling like the rest of these niggas that you've been dealing with. So, according to him, he's not really used to having to constantly check in after every move. And Red, he basically tells him, like, listen, they really do love you. She cares about you. And if anything, it's probably because she missed you. That's another thing. I feel like Reginae and Armand haven't really been apart a lot in this relationship. So that may also be a factor as to why Nay was blowing his phone up. Now, you can already tell that Armand definitely has love for Reginae. And Red is like, I think that y'all can work it out. And he does agree. Armand agrees that it's possible that they can work things out. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't mind Red. Like, I don't know much about him. I just know that Toya is his wife. But he seems to be a very level-headed man, which I like. I like that for her. I really do. Now let's go ahead and move on because Toya is trying to find another venue, right, for her mom's birthday. So Beady is with her. They talk about how Casey was sending Toya crazy messages, and like I said, I understand why she be blocking his ass. And you have the sister Beady. She feels like Casey's mind is still kind of messed up for being in jail for 8 years. I'm like, damn, 8 years? That's a long ass time. So Beady basically gives this man a little bit of grace, right? So Beady goes on to talk about her relationship with her man and how they just went on this trip to New Orleans, right? And then Beady goes on to tell Toya how things aren't working out with Mel, especially because the men are involved and Beady feels like, she's not getting enough of Mel because Mel got to go try to balance her time between her man and Beady, even though her man wants all of Beady. I said, all of Mel. This is all foolishness. All y'all need to separate, please. So at this point, she has to ask her sister, can she stay with her because they have to break their lease because they're going their separate ways. I'm like, okay, maybe these two sisters can get closer once they're in the same house, right? Okay, cool. Toya, she even goes on to be like, Beady, I want you to be in a relationship where the person really wants you. I don't care if it's with a man, a woman. I don't care about none of that. I just want you to be in a good, relationship. And she's like, I want you to have reciprocated love. And I'm like, agreed. I think we all agree on this. Don't nobody want no one-sided relationship. Now here's where we went a little south for me. BD, why the hell are you asking if you can bring Mel? You just told this woman all this stuff, and you still trying to bring Mel around? Toya don't want her there. I don't want her there. I know anybody who's listening to this, they don't want Mel there. Like, how does that make sense, girl? So, let's just get to the party. So, everybody is showing up. Casey talking about something, he out the closet. And they is like, what that mean? Baby, he talking about some, that means these ain't no mall clothes. These are my closet, basically. Baby, I fell out when he was talking about some, he out the closet. Sir, that ain't what that mean, baby. I mean, I know you did 8 years in jail, but come on. Come on. So Casey, he ends up talking about how, he kind of went off in the group chat that they had. And he basically is like, I wasn't wrong. I said, wait a second. So what did you say that wasn't wrong, sir? Because you feel like you've done no wrong at all. And then he goes on to be like, I text Toya that I love her, all this stuff. And Reginae was like, yeah, but you can't do that. You can't cuss somebody out. The next minute, you sending them I love you messages. No, we not good like that, baby. You got to chill out with all that. And I agree with that. That right there is pure madness. Don't cuss me out and then you want to send me a text message 5 minutes later, like, oh, but I love you though. Ain't no way. Definitely getting what? Blocked. So, Danielle, she's like, in her confessional, and she's like, Casey always going off about something. And basically, that's just how he is. We need to get Casey some help. Because if Casey is just spazzing out, going off for no reason, that's a problem. So, Danny, she ends up asking Nay if Beady is coming. And she's like, oh, yeah, I only know that Beady is coming. But, she didn't know if Mel was going to show up or not. What does Beady do? She walks in and Mel is with her. Girl, why is she here? Like, Beady, you're delusional. So Casey, he ends up asking Mel, how was Miami or whatever? And she's like, oh, well, I'm moving there now. And Beady is about to move back home. So Mel, she even says that they are together, but they have their bond and have a relationship. What the hell are y'all talking about? Like, this whole thing with Beady and Mel sounds crazy to me. So, she like questions Beady, like, I don't like how you were just going so hard for her and y'all not together. And I agree. Because, Beady, you just sat at a dinner trying to raise hell with us about this girl who ain't even with you. Make it make sense. Now, according to Mel, they're connected, and that, her plan, this was all her plan, and, she manifested it. Girl, you ain't manifest shit. You manipulated it. You didn't manifest it. Don't try to get those two things, misconstrued. So, here comes Reginae. Y'all already know at this point, Reginae has been very vocal for years. She literally tells Mel, I don't like you. I said, oh, okay. We gonna go there. And she's like, I feel like you playing with Beady's feelings and all this stuff, and it's one-sided. And Reginae ain't telling no lies. She didn't. So Mel, she tries to explain that, originally it was supposed to be them and one guy, but now they both have boyfriends and all of this stuff, but we still talk about how they have this connection. So Toya, she takes this moment to say why she don't like Mel. She basically tells her that, I feel like you're manipulative. And on top of that, you braided my daughter's hair and you were like, oh, you're terrible. All this stuff, saying these negative things to my child, and you don't say that to a child. And here's the thing, I'm going to be completely honest. If you are a child and you are getting your hair braided, let's not act like that's not uncomfortable for children. Hell, getting your hair braided as an adult is uncomfortable. Like, be for real. So it's okay, at least for me, it's okay if a kid is crying or acting out, because depending on how you are braiding, it will probably hurt their heads. Yeah. So if you're not well versed in working with children, just say that. Because I promise y'all, there's this one girl on TikTok. She like specializes in doing little kids' hair. She takes her time. You know what I'm saying? If they cry, she lets them cry it out. But they gonna get their hair braided. And it's gonna look good. And they gonna be okay. I'm sorry, Mel. You're not that person. So at this point, Toya, she had to tell her why she was big mad. So Mel, she says to Toya, if that's what you have to say to make yourself feel good, excuse me? Like, no, she just expressed to you how she feels about you and your antics. So, of course, you have Nate chiming in like, you're not about to talk to my mama like that. So at this point, y'all, it's all bad. Reginae, she wants Mel to leave. I think actually at this point, this is where she tells her that she don't like her to her face. Yeah, it was, because then Mel was like, good, you done? I was like, okay, lady, you need to leave, because at the end of the day, I get it. You're dating Beady and you feel like you need to defend the relationship. However, if these people are seeing it one way, that you are manipulating things, they're going to voice it. So you just going to have to, defend yourself or take the L and leave. But I would prefer if you left, please. So here's the thing. They tell her that, she doing too much or whatever. And before she sashays away, she's like, yeah, I know. And she like rolls her neck. I said, girl, you is extra. So Reginae, she's like, bitch, get out of here. And Reginae, she goes on to tell Beady, like, listen, this girl is a groupie because at some point she wanted to do my hair. And what does Mel do? She circles back. And y'all, that is where the episode ended. Are y'all on Mel's side of this, or are y'all on the family side? In this situation, I feel like I'm on the family side because they are seeing things that Beady isn't, and they just trying to protect their family. But yeah, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to y'all in the next review. Bye, guys.